The MH53, done and done. Finished it off last night. Last I left off, if you follow me on Facebook, you can see the progress shots because I do progress shots on Facebook. But anyway, when I left off, I went ahead and masked off the unit band markings on the front and in the back. I think there's supposed to be 3, but I went ahead and did 2, and I made them a little bit bigger just to give it contrast. And basically it's a generic markings for a helicopter, but I think it gives it enough contrast on it. And went back in with Liquitex transparent burnt umber, which if you don't use inks, these are airbrush ready, and they're basically they dry like a satin in a way, and they're just excellent for shading or filters or anything of that nature. So I went in and very subtle did all the panel lines and just tried to when the different lights, different formats of the lights, when it has like my overhead lights, standard lighting, which I call room lighting, like in your living room or display case or anything, it changed the way it looks, but it's all on there. And last I left off was I did put the total of 6 decals on, which is 1 there on the other side, the US markings, and then danger. That's it. Went back in and pulled off the mask and shot Tamiya smoke on all the windows, which is probably what I'm going to start doing on airplanes. You can't really see the interior anyway because it's all shadows, and it just gives it a little bit of a sheen and gives a nice added touch and doesn't distract from overall of the finished model. But there you have it. Really a fun build and something completely different in the paint realm. Everything is loose, so Rod, you'll be able to assemble it when you get it. And I'm not going to pin it. All I'm going to do is just get you a drop of super glue, glue that on, and you will be good to go. I added a toothpick on the back, which I carved down, and you can put the rotor on and take it on and off. You may need to cut it just a little bit more, but there is that. But really great model. Last time everyone will probably see this, because after it clear coat dries on it, I am going to box it all up, and it will go out the door next week. Just a great build, very fun. On to the Star Trek kits. The D7. Last I left off on that, I basically got all the got it all assembled. I did go in and finish sanding where I needed to, and shot a few places in primer, and I'm probably going to go back in, and there's a few little hairline things I need to fix with a sanding stick, and I'll be good to go. Now this has got to go on a Polar Lights dome base, and I only got 1 left, and I thought they all came with dome bases, but it's been a while since I've seen these kits, so I do have some of these on order, so no worries there. I will have all of them on a dome base, because I actually got this, the Enterprise, the NX, and the NX refit, so we'll be good to go when we get to that point. But the D7 just goes together really great. It's just it snaps together great. You just kind of have to glue everything together and make it real permanent. I was told to make this very Klingon, which most people, when you see the decal sheet, a lot of people don't know. If I can find it here. What are the wings for? These are to make the Romulan version. Now you can either make a winged version, or you can make it just with that, where the D7 decal would go, which is basically right there. Basically the Romulan would go the same way, but that's just something. If you want to make it totally different, go the Romulan version. But anyway, I am going to make it this version, which calls out for Napoleonic Violet, which I had to go to the hardware store, the hobby store, and find that. There you go, Model Master Napoleonic Violet. It's 80% of that with a 20% of light ghost gray. So I will mix that base coat, and that's for the top part, and then use the light ghost gray for all the lighter parts, which is basically a two-tone D7. So I have never painted one in that color. I've always kind of just painted it whatever, but I am actually going to paint it like the studio scale model. So I am looking forward to that. The Enterprise, not a whole lot to really explain. I did go in and sand everything down that I had puttied, and now I'm just going back in and primer it a little bit, go back in and finish where I miss sanding, and that's just on the leading edge. Right here on this part, there's a little thing that sticks out. I've always sanded that off. I have no idea what it's from, but that's just what I do. But that's getting closer and closer to being done. The secondary hull, as you can see, all the little putty marks, I just got all that sanded down, and I'm just waiting for the nacelles to dry. My only complaint of the kit is right there, which you basically have to build up putty about 2 or 3 times and blend it in with the hole, and then it looks a-okay. So I'm waiting for that to dry so I can finish sanding down, shoot some primer on it, and let that sit, and the nacelles are straight. That's a good thing. And get all that sanded, and hopefully I'll be able to get the saucer on and rock and roll on doing the paint job. But I'll show everyone that when we get to it. So, and one more thing, it's Black Friday, and I went to the hobby store today to pick up paint, but I also went up and picked up that. So next video you'll see will be a review of the Pegasus Spinosaurus. So I'm looking forward to looking at that kit, and should be a fun model to build too. I think that it's I'll figure out the scale of it. But anyway, next video will be a review on that. So I'm looking forward to that. Doing the Enterprise D7 taking shape, and last time you will see the MH53 Pavlo. And stay tuned for the next exciting episode.